remember what you raised.
What I
These
raised,
issues aren't the normal run-of-the-mill cases. These were very serious issues. Sexual harassment, rape, and the others that have mentioned, in fact, that you have mentioned. Those are serious issues. There is no way you would not remember if you specifically raised them at the interview. Did you?
I'm saying I raised the issue of sexual harassment of female, the allegations, that's what I raised. But I don't remember other issues that I raised, whether I raised the issue of the accident, because the memorandum was never brought to my attention.
And why would you have singled out sexual harassment if there were even allegations, according to you, allegations of rape? Why would you have singled out sexual harassment?
The rape is a new case that was actually brought to the attention of the city now during the sexual harassment case of the victim.
Just repeat, I didn't quite get the point you were making about you are one woman and there are three men. You said something about being able to raise issues of this nature in that context. I didn't quite get the point you were making. Can you please articulate that point more clearly?
I have raised the issue that I have concern that these things are happening in the department.
Just repeat, please.
I have raised the point about sexual harassment allegations within the department, and Chief being one of them. But the other issues that I raised there, to be honest, but I do not recall, but definitely I did raise the issue.
Do matters like those get recorded somewhere? Would there be a record of what you raised at those interviews somewhere within the municipality?
Well, the interviews are not recorded. We write down about the scoring and how the interview they are actually performing. That is the purpose of the interview. But there's no space where
is that good governance, though? Because there's a lot of issues usually arise out of what took place at interviews. Is it good governance not to record? And one example of the sort of issues that do arise is, for example, litigation around who was appointed and who was not appointed. Is it good governance not to record?
It's not.
And why under your administration wasn't there recording, if you accept that it's not good governance not to?
Interviewing processes are run by HR department. They bring the files to us, and the forms are actually structured in such a manner that we only record the process and the response of the candidates that are being interviewed.
Yes.
But there is no space where you can write your objection as a member of the panel.
When you say you get what comes from HR, it sounds to me like you are saying it's HR's fault. And if my understanding is correct, you are the head, you are the administrative head, the executive head, in fact. So you can correct what HR is doing wrong, can't you? So
I take your point, Commissioner.
Yeah, all right. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Machazi, this video is in 2020. Is that correct, or is it recent?
Commissioner.
I beg your pardon?
Correct.
Yes. And when you do the interview in 2022, you are aware of this incident or these complaints?
Correct, Commissioner.
And did you raise them in the panel with Chief Mapie?
This particular one, I do not recall.
You don't recall whether you raised it?
Yeah, I don't recall. I only recall the sexual harassment one.
You raised the sexual harassment in that interview?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you record your concerns in your form that you complete?
I didn't.
You did not.
Yes.
So as matters stand, the appointing authority, which is council, doesn't know that you raised this issue in the panel because you didn't write it down.
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. Did you dissent in the panel? Because you're saying it's a panel appointment. Did you dissent from the majority decision in the panel? And before you answer, I would like to propose to you that and I can put this to you, that experience is that people do record in their panels, in their panel discussion, they do record concerns about candidates. Did you record your dissension from the decision to recommend him?
I didn't.
You did not.
I didn't.
So council never came to know that you're unhappy that he be appointed to the position because of the allegations that you are now making before us. Council
Yes.
never came to know about it.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's not council's fault that chief got to be appointed in 2022 for another 5 years.
Correct.
You can't blame councillors for that.
Correct.
All right, thank you. And you say that you could not discipline him as his superior because there was no complaint. But you are aware of these allegations of motor vehicle destruction, drinking or driving under the influence of alcohol. You're aware of this video where these allegations are being made against him. Why did you not lodge a complaint as his superior, a written complaint against him? You know the facts. You know the facts. You know they are disciplinable facts, and they include destruction of council property, according to you. Why did you not lay a complaint in writing
In writing to
to the council?
the council.
Unless you're telling us that he's not disciplinable because he's head of police and you are his manager. Unless you're telling us that, which is not what you've said. You've said the authority lies with council. You couldn't initiate without council approval. So these allegations must land before the council for the council to authorize, right, an investigation and disciplinary action. You say to us you couldn't, there was nothing, there was no written complaint, but only you could lay a complaint because you're his superior and you know these allegations against him. Why did you not lay a complaint?
Correct. I did not lay the complaint. Remember, I've explained that that memorandum from the MMC did not reach my office. And this video, I just got it like last night because people could see that I'm struggling I don't have information, I don't have evidence. I just got it last night. That's why we submitted this morning to the commission.
No, it can be. You were city manager in 2020 already. You were city manager.
Correct.
There's a very public protest, as we see in this video. So you know that there's allegations that he's destroyed company property. You know that. You know that there's allegations that you drove under the influence, a motor vehicle of the council. So you know that in 2020 as city manager, so it's not video dependent. It is fact. What do you know in 2020? You've just confirmed. You were aware of this in 2020, of this conduct. My question is, why did you not lay a complaint? Because your answer is, I couldn't discipline him because there was no written complaint. But you're the city manager, he's superior. Why did you not lay a complaint?
Let me concede that I failed to discipline the chief of police and I failed to do an oversight on him as an HOD.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Silla.
Thank you, Commissioner. Perhaps the logical place to start would be to tag on to what the commissioners have raised. And my first question, and I think you touched on it slightly, I think in response to Commissioner Baloi's question, what exactly was the purpose of you sharing this particular clip with the video? What were you intending to achieve?
It was to support my evidence on 50.2 that he has indeed defeated the ends of justice.
Okay,
and
so-
I have summarized by saying I failed to take action against him, and I also failed to do proper oversight over him.
Now, you, I think in the course of one of your responses indicated that he was politically protected, and I think you spoke of this particular incident as to why he was not dealt with, and you explained it away by saying he was politically protected. Did I understand you correctly?
Correct.
What does that mean? And what is the effect of being politically protected?
The effect of that is that as an accounting officer, there's really little you can do. You'll see when we go to question 13 how I struggled to present the report to the executive, for the executive to consider the report on his suspension.
Now, if you can recall, over the course of your tenure as city manager and Chief Mapie as chief of police, how many times have you suspended him?
Suspended, Chief?
Come again?
It's once. He was suspended. He's suspended. He's on his first suspension.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to know how many times you have subjected him to a suspension.
3.
Yes.
It's only once.
It's
this
only
one.
once.
Yeah, because there was concrete report and concrete evidence from the victim.
Indeed, and I do appreciate that you may have challenges in acting in the
Whatever your moves, bring them with Extreme Guarana.
challenge and the basis and what you call concrete evidence to support the latest suspension with what is depicted in that clip. Why couldn't you suspend him there? What was missing at that time? And why didn't you exercise your power to suspend him and initiate a disciplinary process?
Thanks, Commissioner. I do not want to sound like a broken record and
Yes.
repeat myself of the answers I've given about that video. I've indicated that video, I only received it last night. And I indicated at the beginning of the commission that we are struggling to get information from the city. And I have also indicated that the MMC, the political head of that department, never submitted the memorandum or the issues that were raised by these police officers.
Okay, so you only learned last night that in 2020 a memorandum covering the issues that you address in part at paragraph 50.2 was submitted to the city. You only learned that last night.
Last night, I got evidence of the allegations I'm making on section 50.2.
Yes, I appreciate
I've
that.
been knowing that there are this accident, but I do not have evidence. And I wanted to play this video to show you that indeed he defeated the ends of justice. And the officers are protesting there about the accidents.
I appreciate that you call it evidence. My question really was about when you acquired knowledge of the existence of the memorandum submitted by those members of the EMPD that we just saw on the clip to the city. When did you become aware of that particular fact? Not when did you see it actually happen on TV? When did you become aware of it?
Well, officers informally, they would say a chief was involved in this accident, a chief was this, and there was no formal complaint. But now, since there is this commission and there is this video and also this allegation 50.2, we have gathered a lot of information and we are getting statements and police case numbers to support the notion that he has indeed defeated the ends of justice.
Dr. Mashazi, there is no statement you can obtain that can help you answer my question. My question relates to when you acquired personal knowledge of the existence of the memorandum. You accept that there is no statement that can be tendered for that purpose. So can I have an answer to that question, please, if you don't mind?
Can I indicate that I've answered that question
No, you
and
haven't.
accepted that I failed to deal with Chief in terms of his misconduct?
It's the
I
third
failed.
time you avoid that question. Do you
I'm
don't
not
intend to
avoid-
answer it? When you acquired knowledge of the existence of the memorandum, is it so difficult to answer or you choose not to answer it? I don't want to waste the commissioner's time. If you don't want to answer it, please state so for the record and I'll pass on.
I'm saying I've answered that I have failed to action consequence management on the part of Chief in terms of this misconduct, and I have failed to do oversight on him.
I don't know what
I
you
have
just said.
considered-
What you've just said, I don't know what it's responding to. I guess you wanted to address that yourself to the commissioners about that. For whatever it's worth, is on record. If you do accept responsibility in that context, what is the purpose then of bringing the allegations reflected in 50.2 to this commission when you are fully appreciative of your own failings? But you do not disclose those failings at the time you make these allegations. It is until you are pushed, almost on the second day of your testimony, that you make the concession. Why is that?
The importance is for me, as I indicated, to support my allegations that he indeed defeated the ends of justice and he was involved in 2 accidents where he was driving under the influence of alcohol.
But that is not evidence of what you contend. That is evidence that members of EMPD protested in relation to the allegations. It's not evidence of the allegations themselves. Do you accept? And you didn't tender that for the purpose.
Yeah, thank you. Let me respond. We will submit the evidence. The evidence that will be submitting, it will be obviously the cases that were opened.
And you did speak to these cases, I think, at 50.2, you stated complaints or misconduct reports and were not acted upon or were actively suppressed. Were not acted upon by who? Who are you accusing of failing to act upon those?
Firstly is IPIT that is supposed to, and secondly, firstly is myself, secondly is the IPIT, because investigation was supposed to be done, proper investigation was supposed to be done by the police, and upon investigation, I should have taken a disciplinary action against him.
Sorry, I apologize. I interrupted you. I thought.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm
So technically, you're inviting the commissioners to read paragraph 50.2 thus. The complaints and the misconduct reports were not acted upon by inter alia myself. That's your complaint. And and IPID on the other hand.
Don't nod. Please say yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't want to speak louder while she's speaking. It will be as if I'm interrupting her.
I understand.
Appreciate
I
it.
understand.
Okay. So perhaps I pause there, and your response is a yes. You confirm that the statement must be read to mean complaints or misconduct reports were not acted upon by inter alia myself and IPID.
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. The second half of that is your charge, they were actively suppressed. By who and how?
By IPIT or the law enforcement or by himself, because I never got to see any report. As the video indicated that he's been protected, I never got to see the accident report, the outcome of the accident, and the recommendation from IPIT, because they always investigate police misconduct. I never got to get that report.
I appreciate that. But you're making a specific allegation to the commission and you say these acts of misconduct were actively suppressed. When you wrote that in your statement, I would take it that you at least had a sense of who suppressed and how they suppressed. Are you able to assist the commissioners in that regard?
I'm sure my answer would be he actively suppressed that through his connections, because I never got to see the report of the accident and the outcome and the recommendation to myself to actually take action. Remember, you can't take action on the allegation that chief was involved in the accident, and we don't have anything in writing. And we do not have any report in terms of the recommendation. You see how IPED dealt with Mkhwanazi's matter. They did their own investigation and they gave us recommendation. So I expected that kind of a report that chief was involved under the influence of alcohol and the city must take action against him. But I never got to get that report. Hence, we are saying his misconduct was actually suppressed.
Is it? Yes,
Ms.
yes.
Shazi, maybe just a correction. The testimony that we have about IPID's investigation into Brigadier Mkhwanazi is that Spies actually went and laid a criminal complaint with the police. And that then IPID took the matter over from the police. So IPID didn't just introduce itself into the Brigadier Mkhwanazi matter, or the matter didn't end up with IPID because IPID took the initiative to start an investigation. An official of the municipality went to lay a criminal charge. Now, you have your direct report accused of that in 2020 and you become aware of this. If IPID were to be involved, it was through you. You had to go and lay a criminal complaint. Now that your officers have done that, you've seen that publicly, you know the detail of it. It was your responsibility in the way that Spies did it to go to the SAPS and then the SAPS and then IPID would take it from there. So it's not open to you to criticize IPID that they should have investigated when the complainant would have been you and you did nothing about it. I'm just correcting that IPID becomes involved because the employer, the municipality, lays a criminal charge.
Thanks, ma'am. Thanks, Commissioner. I take your point.
A difficulty I have also is you like, and I think you started saying this from yesterday already, you like saying, I did not get a report. You've said that a good few times, even this morning, I did not get a report. I don't understand that. You are the leader, you are the top administrator, you are aware of what is happening around you, even if it is at the level of allegations. I just don't understand why you would sit back and wait for a quote-unquote report. Do you want to comment on that?
I want to comment by saying that obviously it's like an oversight that I could have reported the case to IPID so that I can get a proper report and discipline.
And not just that, not just that. You are an administrator within the local sphere of government. You don't have to have a report from an outsider, as it were, IPID, for you to be able to act. Why should that be so? Well, now you are suggesting that for you to act, you must always get a report from IPID. That cannot be so. You are part of a sphere of government, which is autonomous. You said so yesterday. So why must you want to get something from another sphere of government? Police operated the national sphere of
AVBOB policyholders who use AVBOB funeral service to conduct
the processes that before I can act against a senior manager, I must get a report.
From whom?
Here, this
From whom?
A complaint, a formal complaint.
At the time, in 2020, did you not become aware at the time that members of the EMPD had protested On the day the protest took place, or at the latest, the very next day, did you not get to know that members of the EMPD had protested?
I was aware.
You were aware. What report were you waiting for then?
Remember,
Why don't you get up and go find out what exactly the protest was about and see whether there was a need for you to act or not? Why do you just sit and fold your arms for some report that must come from I don't know whom?
remember, I indicated, Commissioner, that the person who took a report from the protesters was a political head. And I have indicated that my hands are tied in terms of politicians. He promised that he's going to submit that report to the administration, of which he did not. And I want to actually maybe concede that waiting for a report did not help me, and waiting for a report made me not to act or implement consequence management from the chief of, for the consequence management on the chief of police.
The complaint was not by politicians, so you did not have to depend on politicians to get to the bottom of what all of this was about. So you cannot blame the politicians for not having brought the memorandum to you, can you?
No, I can't.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. You, in response to the question that the Chair just posed to you, and I understood you to say the politician upon whom the memorandum was served promised to submit the report to the administration. Is that what you said?
Correct, Commissioner.
By report, do you mean the memorandum itself, or a report that he or some structure within the city would compile for submission to the administration? What exactly did he promise to submit?
He promised to submit the memoranda because he indicated on that video that the allegations must be investigated.
When was this promise made?
He promised on the video that he was going to submit the report to the administration being me as the administrative head. And that memorandum, and it never reached my office.
When did you learn of this promise?
I beg your pardon?
When did you learn of the promise being made?
On that day when he took a memorandum.
The date of the day
Yes,
of.
yeah.
And what steps did you take to ensure that he delivers on his promise?
I did not take any steps. I was waiting for the memoranda, and I took the commissioner, the chairperson's view that I did nothing
Okay.
to implement consequence management.
No, I doubt you can implement any consequence management on political appointees. Am I correct? Against whom are you going to implement consequence management?
I can through counsel. Remember, if the allegations
the
and there is
counsel.
that memoranda in front of me, I was expected to write a report to mayoral committee that these allegations should be investigated, and that report will eventually go to council to be entertained, and council will make a determination that these allegations be investigated.
Do you understand the magnitude of your failure to at least pursue a promise you know was publicly made regarding these important and disturbing issues? Do you appreciate, if
Yes,
you accept that you would have been a trigger for the council to investigate this particular politician and take steps, and you fail to do so, you just so flippantly, you come across as so flippantly saying, I take the point, oversight on my part. Is that how you intend to communicate it, or am I misunderstanding you?
Well, I can't comment on that. I've
Okay.
made a point that I failed to discipline chief of police in terms of council processes and the code of conduct for senior managers. I also accept the fact that I failed to play an oversight role on him as an HOD.
And I say, because you 5 years later, in 2025, before the Madlanga Commission, you make it a specific objective of your testimony here to highlight precisely what Chief Mapieya did 5 years ago, in circumstances where you had certain failings. And we must accept that you do so because you seriously want those issues to be addressed? Or are you just raising them to show up Chief Mapieya and his shortcomings? What is the purpose, really?
That such issues be investigated or
By
be
who?
addressed. Remember, there's an issue about political interference, infiltration of criminals within the system. There's also an issue about political interference. There's also an issue about political killings.
Yes.
And I think, and also defeating the end of justice. I don't know
Yes.
how to put it legally. So we need to showcase that police officers themselves, at some point, they do defeat the ends of justice. And that must be looked into, especially where cases are reported and nothing happened on them, or no investigation was done, or no consequences was implemented. We should actually showcase and assist the Commission in making recommendations.
Thank you.
I hope you'll be moving on. I think this
I am.
point has been exhausted.
I just have one last point, and then I'm moving to my next question. So you raise it for purposes of demonstrating defeating the ends of justice. Anything about political interference in particular? No, you don't take it that far.
Political interference, I've indicated several times. I'll still indicate during question 13, where I was prevented to take action against the Chief of Police, and where I was victimized immediately after I took action and took the report direct to council,
Okay.
because I was blocked by the executive mayor or by the executive.
Okay, then we will deal with that issue under that question. Is then you introduced the video. Have we covered it as extensively as you would have wanted the Commission to consider it? May we
Correct.
move on? Thank
Correct.
you. I would invite us to go to question 11. At your page 22.
Ms. Silo, just for our benefit, sorry, Chair, can you just indicate for us which questions have been answered and which ones remain?
Okay.
We are a bit lost in our
All right.
record, so just
Because
so
of the approach we had.
Yes.
We are left with question 9, question 11, question 12, and 13.
Thank you very much.
Those are the outstanding
I
questions.
whispered to my colleagues just now.
And I'm sorry to add to the confusion by skipping 9 and going to 11.
Oh, all right.
So I'm going to deal with 11 and 12 in succession. Then I retrace to 9 and finalize with 13. Thank you. 11 appears at your page 22, the statement, Dr. Mashazi, at page 22. And this particular question wanted you to comment on the appointment of Brigadier Mkwanazi to the rank of Deputy Chief of Police during or about December 2023. You have responded comprehensively to this question from paragraph 124 to paragraph 136. If you could take the commissioners through your response.
Thank you, ma'am. The position of Deputy Chief of Police was vacant, and there was a need to fill the position. The position was advertised, and a panel was formulated. Chief of Police was the chairperson of